So am I captaining Salah this week or not?
I don't know. You tell me, Siva. I would not if I were you. It may still be Haaland. Putting his pedigree out there. I mean, I don't know if you realize, but Haaland, I mean, obviously he's top for non-pen XG, right? Like, obviously.
By some distance. I mean, he's ahead of some clubs. Like,
Yeah.
like he's got ridiculous amounts of non-pen XG.
It's like 5.7. And the next highest is Sa at 2. And Semenya at 1.9. Like, it's insane.
Oh, this is the thing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the FPL Banger Show. My name is Siva. I'm joined by Sam for Game Week 6. And Sam, we've got to talk about one of the most intense matches I think the Premier League has seen this week.
That's how we
match for
started.
the ages. Yeah, a one that two visionaries of our game clashing head to head. Two teams giving it their all. Both desperately, fighting for every point. I'm talking about Man United v Chelsea, Sam. Certified classic.
Amazing game. Yeah, it was certainly something.
Pure cinema, man. Because for us, right, the game starts at like 12:30 a.m. Malaysian time, and you're kind of sleepy. You're thinking, should I really stay up for this? Two teams, I'm not that invested. And then 5 minutes in, Robert Sanchez, man, complete head loss. Who knew? Spending 1.5 billion on a squad and then running with Spain's sixth best keeper could go so wrong.
Yeah, you know what annoys me about that game? I have Mbeumo in my team, or I had. He had a good game. I mean, he's the reason why Sanchez was, took the red card, right? He was basically in on goal, but he finished the game with just 2 points, like 0 points for his contribution, which is annoying because I think I rightly called that he probably is the best MU attacker to have, right? Like he's the most influential. If you watch all the games, he's the one making most things happen. But yeah, it is what it is. No more MU players in my team. That's it.
Actually, I must say you're quite unlucky, Sam, because that's a good point, right? You should get like some sort of fantasy contribution for getting the guy sent off, right? You don't win a pen,
right?
but he basically wins the game, right? I mean, without that red card, Maresca doesn't then have the massive head loss of subbing off all his attackers in 2 seconds, subs off Palmer, subs off Estevao, subs off Neto, and then halftime. Well, Casemiro, gotta love Casemiro. Clearly thought that this game needed to be fairer, so gets himself sent off at halftime, and Maresca subbed off all his attackers, and then decides after having to reverse it. I was very frustrated, Sam, as somebody who owns Joao Pedro. I mean, his entire game was just get the ball and then Ankara Messi, like trying to run against the whole team by himself.
Yeah.
I don't think we really learned anything about either team from that game, I must say.
Nope, not at all. It's one of those weird freak games, I guess.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, Sam, you have discarded all Man United players, and that I think is a nice segue to your wildcard team, Sam. You have, like, Sam's so-called "I'm not template. I do things my own way." Man does the most template thing. Wildcard Game Week 6, Sam. I'll just read out the names and then you tell me. We're gonna go this line by line, Sam, because I got some questions here, right? So let's read out the team for you. Vicario Dubravka in goal. Senesi, Chalobah, Byrne, Calafiori, Mukiele, Semenyo, Ndai, Xhaka, Kudus, Saka. And up top, Lyle Foster, Erling Haaland, and Victor Gyökeres. Sam, let's start with the back line.
Okay.
You have gone for DEFCON people, but you have not touched any 6 million defenders. I'm very interested by that. Any thoughts?
Who do you want the 6?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of
players worth
Virgil
having?
and Gabriel in drafts.
I'd rather have Calafiori or Timber. Because I don't know, just the way Arsenal is, they set up just more attacking chances. I think Arsenal, there's basically no DEFCONs, right? Like even Gabriel and Saliba, they are not getting DEFCONs. So all you're hoping is attacking returns. But I get that people are scared to go for either Calafiori or Timber because of rotation, right? Like that's the fear. They have capable replacements. I see the point, but I think the upside, the potential points that you get from them outweighs the risks, I guess. And they have a decent bench. So if they were to be benched a game, hopefully they don't come in. And then Mukiele plays, which is pretty good.
I like the Mukiele pick. We must say this. So people who aren't watching Sunderland, DEFCON's in 3 out of 3 games because he came in a bit late. He was a late signing. Obviously, he comes from PSG, so he's got a great pedigree. Can play right back and centre back, so he's versatile. His long throws have been an absolute weapon. Should have got an assist in the Villa game. His cross hits Alderete. Alderete heads it in, hits the bar. I'm very impressed with Sunderland in general. My only question to say you, Sam, was why only Mukiele? Why not Alderete as well?
Because I only want one player on my bench. I'm gonna play a 4-4-2. And then my strategy, I guess, is to just pack the bench. Not really caring so much about attacking returns, just players who most likely will get DEFCONs. So if they were to come in, the floor is higher, I guess. All of them, Mukiele and Jaka has hit DEFCONs. Mukiele 3 out of 3, like you said. Jaka also quite consistently hitting DEFCONs, nailed, which is what you want as a bench player.
Yeah. Dan Burn, I must say, I did not realize how well he was doing for DEFCONs. And seems to be, I guess, are you concerned about Newcastle having a lot of options at centre back? Botman, Dow, Shah.
Yeah. He loves Danburn, right? Like, everywhere I look, Newcastle, Reddit and stuff, like everyone feels that Danburn is pretty much undroppable for Eddie Howe. And so not only is he getting DEFCONs, he's getting bonus when they do get clean sheets. What more can you ask for? Extremely good defense. So back to bonus, he's gotten 2 bonus points, which is pretty good. Tough fixtures to start, and yet returned pretty well. So you would expect with the fixture list turning, you might want to get a Newcastle player in. That's what I think. Newcastle defenders are being massively overlooked.
I think that's fair. I mean, they've done really well. I think it's 4 clean sheets out of 5. Very, very impressive start. And also, they can't seem to score any goals. So clean sheets are probably the only way they're getting any points. So fair enough. I think Burns okay. Talk to me. I mean, Trevor Chalobah, you don't really need to hard sell. He's done very well. He's scoring goals pretty consistently now. So although Chelsea fans really seem to hate Chalobah and Tosin, like with a passion that I did not realize until I logged on Twitter, the amount of hate the centre backs get. But I don't think it's really relevant because who else does Maresca have to play? He doesn't trust Aki Ampong. He doesn't seem to trust Hato yet. So I think Chalobah's fine for you. And Marco Senesi is what? Going to be 100% EO by the end of this week?
I think so. I think there's no reason not to get Senesi, despite him going up 0.2, right? Like 4.7 still really cheap. Was it DEFCONs in every single game and 3 clean sheets? Am I looking at that right? Yes, 3 clean sheets and a nice next 4 fixtures. I think at least for the next 4, right? Leeds, Fulham, Palace. Now that's maybe a bit tougher, but they look so tired in Game Week 5. By Game Week 8, they will be half dead on the pitch, I think. Forest, and then the fixture maybe they have a hard one against City, but yeah, I think Senesi is a must buy. I think as close to essential as you can get.
Yeah. I mean, we could do the whole DEFCONs have ruined the game, made it too template, but I don't want to waste time on that. We're here to get points made. So let's talk about the big guy who you have missed out, Sam. And I'm seeing him missing in a lot of wildcard teams. James Tarkowski. So only 2 players have hit DEFCONs in all 5 games. Senesi and Tarkowski. I see a lot of Senesi. I don't see Tarkowski in many teams. Is that just a price thing?
Yeah, I think Here, I'll list a few players who I had to very reluctantly leave out, right? So Tarkowski is definitely one of them. Its price, it's how many clean sheets will they keep. I mean, their fixture list has been pretty decent at the start, but they've only got 2 clean sheets out of 5, which isn't terrible. And then the next weekend, so they have a nice game against West Ham next game, week 6. Then 7 is Palace, who are a very good team, right, this year. City, Spurs. I don't know how many clean sheets are there up front. So I've gone for fixture for most of my team, right? Like fixture first, and then find a DEFCON monster from teams who have good fixtures. That's my thought process.
Yeah, very well reasoned. I don't think I can argue with that. Keeper, not tempted to go cheaper. I had the same decision to make, but I guess what's selling you on this is just because the first game is Wolves.
Yeah, and not only the first game, I think they have Leeds, Villa, Everton, and then Chelsea, United, Arsenal further down. So it looks like good fixtures. Again, I'm really targeting fixtures. I was playing around with having Pope instead though, and then moving Burn to someone else. So that's an option as well. Pope doing pretty well with the bonus as well. He's had 3 so far, which is pretty good for a keeper. So yeah. I mean, there are a lot of 50-50 or whatever you call it, 25 decisions in my squad. But in keepers, basically just start with the idea of having either Pope or Vicario.
I like Vicario. I think the good thing about Vicario is he's nailed for the season. Whereas with Pope, you'll have that nagging doubt. They spent a lot of money on Ramsdale. Maybe at some point they feel like they want to try him out. So I think that's fair. Yeah.
I did leave out a Palace defender very reluctantly, but mostly because there's so many teams that I want to target that I just can't fit everyone in, right? And now this could just be what do you call it, copium. But I look at Palace and they've done really, really well, right? I think they've only conceded 2 goals this entire season, which is joint top with Arsenal. They've been doing really well, but they've also had really kind fixtures to start with, right? Chelsea giving one of stuff, but then Forest, we all know how Forest doing. Villa can't score a goal. Sunderland, West Ham, pretty bad teams. And then coming next, you have Liverpool, Everton, Bournemouth, who have been scoring every game. Arsenal. So I'm just banking that going for players with good fixtures will outscore, a Palace defender, despite Lacroix getting DEFCONs like almost every game.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the fixtures seem to be turning. Although Palace undefeated in 17 games in all comps, that includes wins over Liverpool and Man City in the Cup and Community Shield. And they are the only one of 2 teams who are still unbeaten at this stage. So it's them v Liverpool this week. So could be the only unbeaten team in the league by the end of the weekend. Who knows? But but I think I'm with you. And it's also the issue with Palace is Chris Richards and Gahey are a great price, but then Leclerc 5, you're kind of already stretching your budget. And I own Danny Munoz at 5.5, and I feel like I'm getting ripped off, even though he's still playing really well. But doesn't DEFCON, like, you need somebody who DEFCONs every single game, I feel. And I just wanted to sort of talk a bit more about 4 million defenders, Sam, because you've limited yourself to 1.
Yeah.
I feel like
But there are
4 million
a lot of
defenders,
options, right?
Yeah, Rodon, Goodmanson, who I've got, Alderete, Ekdal, Esteve, all really consistent for points. I mean, if you look at Alderete is on 22 points. I think he's 4 points behind Gabriel.
Yeah.
At way less in terms of the price. Aren't you slightly tempted, and perhaps we address this now in your midfield, you're not slightly tempted to go cheaper at the back and then go heavier in midfield and attack?
So I mean, To answer your question, Siva, no, I think I've decided that I will start 4 defenders, so I don't really need to go cheaper. Like I'm happy, and some of these guys are pretty cheap. Like I could go more expensive. I could have a Van Dijk here, Gabriel, and things like that, right? So I think my backlines are already fairly cheap. I'm okay with having one. Plus, based on this draft you have on screen right now, I have something like 2 million in the bank, which I forgot to mention to you, Siva. But yeah, so
You left
no
that out.
reason to
but
save
okay.
more money. So yeah,
Okay, so let's come to your 2 million in the bank in a sec, right? Because I do have a draft which I'll share later, Sam. Although I've played my wildcard, I just want to see if I can sell you on it as we go along. But let's look at midfield. Okay, Semenyo, we don't need to discuss. Guaranteed. Now even gets DEFCONs, so amazing. Iliman and I really like the pick. He's probably my transfer in this week. DEFCONs,
yeah.
goals,
I had
assists, pens.
people who have been listening to the pod since the start will know I started the season with, and I sold him in game week 1, and then he proceeded to not blank for the next 4 game weeks. So fixing that mistake. The nice thing is that his price went up and then dropped back to his original price.
It's hilarious. I have no idea why he's still 6.5 million. Makes no
Yeah.
sense to me. To me, probably best value asset after Semenyo. So, and he hasn't even got his pen, which is definitely coming soon because, I mean, Everton have so many good attackers. They've got Grealish, and the fixtures for Everton, very decent fixtures going forward. West Ham basically sleepwalking into this game. They've already basically confirmed that the manager is going, and the people they're talking about replacing him are all equally incompetent. They're talking about Slaven Bilic, Gary O'Neill, and they're talking about them as interim managers. How is we're 6 games into the season and you're talking about an interim manager? It's like they're already throwing away the season. So I think Endai, great. David Moyes, he'll want to smash West Ham like 6-0, I think.
I think there's an argument or a debate between going for Ndai or Grealish, right? Like I knew I wanted one Everton midfielder. I was deciding between the two. Went on Ndai mostly because he has started hitting DEFCONs, like crazily
is
enough.
insane.
2 in the past 2 games, and even the first 3 games of the season, right? He hit 988, which is really good for a winger. Like what are you doing?
Yeah, I think a few weeks ago there was maybe a debate. Now, no debate for me. And Grealish doesn't shoot enough. And you want the guy who is shooting and more importantly, pens. I mean, Indra is gonna get his penalty at some point. You want to be there when he gets it. There's gonna be a pen assist, DEFCON haul, and you don't want to miss on that. So I think Indra is a great pick. Shaka, you already mentioned, very good pick. Really like the assist this week.
I think we can just talk briefly because I did consider a few. So I think a lot of people would probably also consider Anton Stash, right? Among the 5 mil midfielders, and the other one would be KDH, whose name is too long. But yeah, so I think those are the few options. Now I was really tempted by Stash, but I don't know if it's just purely chasing points, right? So he looks on paper, like on the surface, like he looks like he's the best 5.0 mid. But this game week aside, he's only had 1 assist the entire season. He did hit DEFCONs, but the other games where he didn't, it's really bad. So it's feast or famine, right? Which is great if you're planning to start him. But I think if you're living there on your bench and you want him to come on, you just want someone who has a high floor to help to cover that hole in your team, right? Instead of gambling that will be the week he feasts when he's subbed in and not, feasting when he's on your bench. So that's the logic I went for. Same with KDH. I just felt Xhaka has the highest floor among all these players.
Very well reasoned. I think consistency is here. Xhaka will be there for the entire season. Ticks over nicely. Let's talk about your other 2 picks because this is where you're kind of, I feel, now these are more Sam picks, the ones that I would, and you can see, right, your audio equipment's turning on you as I.
Yeah. Let's go into it, Siva.
Okay, so let's talk about these 2 picks, right? You got these 2 picks, very Sam picks, Kudus and Saka. Now, I got to question you on both. First of all, Kudus, Sam, you are picking a Spurs attacker. Spurs have been rotating like there's no tomorrow. Everybody's been rotated, including Richarlison. They've got a lot of options. And then Saka, just coming back from fitness. Now, we are recording on Tuesday, so we know that Noni Madueke is out for 2 to 3 months. Arsenal's ability to buy people who immediately get injured is, I mean, it's as good as if there was a title for that, we'd be winning it. But first of all, Saka, Sam, let's talk about it. 9.8 million for a guy who's not on pens, as far as I can tell, who is probably going to get another injury based on how we're going to run him into the ground. Why are you spending so much when you could get Bruno Fernandes?
I'll be honest with you, Siva. That last spot in my midfield was the very last pick in my team. Like I left that blank, filled out everything, and I had something like 11, 12 mil. So pretty much could get any player I wanted except Salah, right? Looked into all of it. I just felt Saka probably not highly owned because a lot of people have doubts on him. He's just back from injury. Nice differential with the good fixtures coming up. I get all your points. I just felt I needed to take a risk somewhere in this team and gamble a bit because he was looking way too template.
Okay, so he's your flex kind of sexy pick, just
Yeah.
to probably becomes Cole Palmer when he's back. Although he's also out for apparently 6 weeks. So, okay,
Yep.
fair enough. Differential, and you just don't want to pick Bruno because
I don't want United players in my team for sanity reasons.
I mean he's scoring from open play now. I must say, I was okay. So we sort of discussed United Chelsea at the start, right? But for the first 3.5 minutes before Sanchez did what he did, I was very impressed with United. They were attacking, they were throwing the ball all over the place. If anything, they got much worse once they were up
Yeah.
by a man. So hard to read, but just the fact, right? You park your United bias or anti-bias, right? You sort of your downplay your Man United feelings. Bruno is on pens, nailed, DEFCONs in some games, shoots, and clearly in a situation where they're facing 10 men, so in a game where they're dominating, he seems to get forward a little more. Given that, like you say, Brian Mbomo's starting to adapt very well to the system, Cunha's back, aren't you tempted to at least have one United player? Because let's just show their fixtures on screen, right? So United have Brentford, I think that's a good fixture. Sunderland, decent. Liverpool, okay, not the best. Brighton, I think a decent fixture at the moment, very inconsistent. Forest, Ange. Spurs, Everton, okay. Palace. I mean, long story short, they only play one top 4 team between now and game week 13. So why are you excluding all United players, Sam, apart from their Man United players?
Well, the reason is not so much that they are Man United players, but Man United is a very inconsistent team themselves, right? And if I'm gonna pay that much, like I'd rather pay for an attacker from a team that you can pretty much be sure that they will be top 4, right? And I think Arsenal had a really tough start to the season. I do feel that this is where things start to turn for them.
Okay,
Perhaps, yeah, I don't know. Perhaps you have the anti Arsenal bias, the reverse of me, right? So I just don't want to pay so much for a United player, for a player from a team where they are inconsistent. Yeah, they did well against Chelsea, against 10 men. If that didn't happen, would that have continued? They look sharp, sure, but we look sharp in many games this season, honestly, if you watch all our games. So yeah, it's just a no-go for me at this moment. And if things do start to turn, I'm pretty sure that I'm sticking to my guns that Mbemo will be the player I want.
Okay. We need to talk about Mo Kudus because I don't understand why Mo Kudus is here, Sam. His underlying stats don't look great. I don't think he's nailed. It's a weird price point.
He's
I don't
the only
think he's
player
nailed.
who's, I mean, he's a 90-minute player, basically.
So he's due his rest.
Maybe. But I think Thomas Frank spoke very highly of him as well. Praised him in his ball carrying abilities and things like that. And I don't think there are other players in the squad who can do what he does, who offers what he does. I think that he's a real integral part of Spurs right now. I don't see him getting rested anytime soon. Although I may have to eat my words, but in that case, Xhaka comes on and that's fine.
Okay, not tempted by Xavi Simons.
Very tempted, honestly, until he was benched the last game week. But looked really bright when he come on. But that's the thing, like he's a younger player coming in from a different league. Like I feel Spurs or Thomas Frank might feel that, okay, you know, this guy, I don't have to play him every week now because he's still adapting to the team yet. Maybe at the second half of the season, things will change. At the moment, though, you know, Kudus just looks like a more nailed pick. And Kudus is still getting attacking returns. So no complaints there, right?
Okay. And also, I guess that price is, although I said it's not a great point, I guess Ismail Assar, when he comes back, you've got some options there. Yankuba Minte, Kara Mitoma. But, Sam, in doing this, you have sort of elected not to have a third forward, which means you don't get Joao Pedro, you don't get Jean-Philippe Mateta, you don't get Strand Larsen once he's back in starting games. What's the thought process behind that?
Okay. If you listen to the previous episodes, it's a purely nonsensical, illogical reason on why I'm not having Joao Pedro, which is that I just don't want to have Joao Pedro.
But his ownership is going down, mate. I mean, people are selling, so surely now's the time to go and buy.
If he drops to being the second most owned player in the game, then I'll get him. By principle, I will not have the most owned player in the game. So that's why I don't have Joao Pedro, right? And then Mateta, now that was a tough one. Like I basically debated between having Mateta versus Kudus. Playing a 4-3-3 or 4-4-2. In the end, I went for the Brexit formation. I think there is some truth to the theory that Palace is starting to look a bit tired. And the fixtures coming up looks hard, right? I think I mentioned earlier on, but Liverpool next, so that already is like, it's really scary to get a player who's about to play Liverpool. Everton, Bournemouth, Arsenal, it just does not scream great. Maybe in game week 11, 12, when the fixtures change, then I'll bring him in or something like that. For now, though, Kudus gets a nod for me.
It's interesting you say that it's scary to bring in a player from Liverpool, Sam, because this is a Liverpool team who conceded 2 against Bournemouth, conceded 2 against Newcastle. Okay, Arsenal, but then Arsenal, Arteta, so didn't try to attack. Burnley, and then conceded against Everton. So is Liverpool at home for Palace, by the way, when Palace have the whole week off? Is it that bad a fixture that Jean-Philippe Mateta shouldn't feature in your thinking? And I only ask this because I appreciate that at some point Europe kicks in and Palace will really be tired then. But right now he's the only nailed 7.5 million pen taking forward in the game. And that's kind of unique given that 7.6, yeah. So no forwards nailed at that particular price point on pens.
I get that, like 100% Siva, I understand. And this is a real 50-50 decision for me. Like right now, the draft you've put out has Kudus. High possibility that you'll have Mateta instead by the end of the game week. So real 50-50, I think there are cases to go for both.
Okay. You have Kudus, so we'll talk about this player because we had a question from Jordanian Foot about Richarlison. Now, slightly tempted, surely, Sam, because this feels to me like a Sam pick. Richarlison against Wolves. Wolves have lost every single game of the season, almost certainly going down based on the current trajectory. And you get, with a wild card, because that's probably the only way. You would never spend a transfer on Richarlison, but to have him off the bat, similar price. It's not hard for you to get to Richarlison from Lyle Foster. Tempted? Double Spurs attack against Wolves?
Tempted, for sure. But again, I think Richarlison is a real short-term pick because I really don't know. Is he going to be the starting forward? Like once Solanke is back, once Kolomuani, gets integrated into the team. And on a wild card, I guess I'm trying to go for stability, right? Like everyone here will probably be starting and nailed in the team.
Okay, let's talk about Victor Gyökeres now, because I think that is the only pick that everyone has a lot of hesitancy today. Now, I've got some very strong views on this, but I'm curious to hear what you think, because you have not picked Gyökeres up to this point. So it is simply a case of you weren't there for the blank, so therefore you come here with a clearer picture.
No, I think it looks quite clear when you look at it, right? He blanks against big teams, he scores against small teams, and he's about to go on a run against small teams.
I think that's a perfect way to sum it up. And I'm surprised that people are getting so frustrated. Like, what were you expecting against Liverpool, Man City? He's gonna blank against Newcastle, and I am waiting to buy him at 8.9 million after the Newcastle game.
Yeah. It's purely a long-term pick for me, right? Like I accept that most likely he's gonna blank. Same with Saka even, right? Like I accept this game week will not be a good game week for them. Away against Newcastle is really tough fixture. After that though, great run of fixtures, so long term, I guess. When you're on wildcard, I feel you gotta think a bit further out into the horizon.
Yeah. And he's nailed. I mean, I must confess, like, he did absolutely nothing against Man City. It was like we were playing with 10 men. He contributed nothing off the ball, even. He was just slow Haaland, basically, running around. And even then, Arteta kept him on for the full 90. So, manager loves him. He's gonna eventually, like, by sheer force of will, he will stat pad against West Ham. People will pass
And
to
he's
him. He
that-
will be given pens. He's on pens.
Yeah.
And this club needs to justify why we've spent 75 million on a 27-year-old who looks basically like a slower version of Darwin Núñez. So we'll get him goals somehow, some way. I mean, don't watch too much. I mean, Victor Gyökeres, I said this like back in Game Week 2, just don't watch the game. Like, people watch him run and then start getting triggered. Just don't
his
watch the
first
game.
touch. Just because Henry
Yeah, as
said
if-
like he should have taken first touch the other way or something like that, and everyone's like, "Yeah, he has horrible first touch. What a shit striker, championship
Yes,
level. Put it in, make
Thierry
it."
Henry, you can see why Thierry Henry didn't make it as a manager, because his whole idea of managing is just be like Thierry Henry. Why aren't you like Thierry Henry?
It's not the first time. I think he did the same thing with the France. Was it France? No, when he was coaching in the US, I think.
In MLS,
Right, that's
yeah. And
there's a clip of him like just standing, one touch. It's so easy, just one touch. And you can see the players are really trying their best, like to the best of their ability. They're just not Henry.
yeah, that's why you need people like Thomas Frank, and I was gonna say Graham Potter, but it doesn't really fit. Okay, so Sam, I think it's a really good draft. So the last real question here, Sam, and I must say it's slightly been a boring episode because your draft has been way too sensible for my liking, to an annoying degree, I must say. So let's talk about the one interesting thing that you have done. You have committed to no Salah and you've stuck to it, and I'm impressed, Sam, because
Not only no Salah, but if you notice, there's 0 Liverpool players in my whole team.
okay, so I think that's fair, because apart from Salah, honestly, there are no picks. Maybe Van Dijk, and you were never going to spend 6 million on a defender, so we've established that. I got to talk to you about Salah, Sam, because I'm holding on. I'm one of the few who has Salah and Haaland, but I see a lot of people this week have decided they don't want Salah. Now, Sam, how comfortable do you feel not owning Salah? And the reason I say this is because Salah, yesterday, Ballon d'Or, finished 4th. The last time he finished 4th, he scored a hat-trick. In fact, every time Salah doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, in his next game, he hauls. Like, it's scientifically proven. In 2018, finishes 4th. 5 days later, scores a hat-trick. 2019, finishes 5th. 3 days later, goal and assist. 2021, finishes 7th. Scores a brace in the next game. 2025, Sam, he's scoring a hat-trick against Palace. And he's going to,
Siva,
shout about the disrespect he's been getting from people like you.
what about the years? Or is he just scoring, like, regardless of Ballon d'Or standing? Like, he just scores all the time. You could pick any random event and put it in, and Salah will be scoring because that's what he does. Right?
So then I come back to my question, Sam. Why don't you have Salah?
I just don't want Salah. He's the most expensive player in the game. But
Not for
I
long.
concede
to be
that's
fair.
a good point, and I hope all of you who are listening, like, please listen to Siva, because I see a lot of people going off Salah and coming to Haaland. Too many people for my liking. Like, stick with Salah, right? just continue captaining Salah every game week and leave the Haaland points to me.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Great draft, Sam. I must say, very impressed. Very un-Sam like. Let me show you. I've done a draft for you, Sam.
Before that, Siva, I just want to
Mm.
say that I tried really hard to like find differentials in my draft, but there just is not many differentials right now, unfortunately.
Despite
yeah.
Jaden Anthony proving, I want to say proving me right, but then I never went for him. But we did say that he was going to be good, and he did score. He is joint second for XG in the entire league right now, Sam. But
And second for points or midfielders. So
insane, but still not
yeah, but
making a
third is
team.
Caicedo. So like, how much can you tell on points at this stage of the season? Like one hat trick propels you straight to the top. You know.
You dismiss Caicedo, Sam, but he is farming DEFCONs at a ridiculous rate.
Yeah.
If he keeps this up, and what other Chelsea players are you picking? I think it's worth considering. Let me show you a draft, Sam. Let me see if I can try and sell you on this, right? Because I did this for our TikTok, for people who follow us on TikTok. You know, we do some very short form stuff there. Now, first of all, Sam, I don't know why you're spending so much on your keeper. Just get Petrovic. Cheap. Everyone owns Senesi, so you're not benefiting from Senesi cleans. You might as well get double defense. Senesi, Mukiele, Tarkowski, Alderete, Anderson. If anything, I've overspent here. I don't even want Tarkowski, but it's a flex pick because I think it's a clean sheet guaranteed against West Ham. Mukiele and Alderete you can rotate them. You could play them every week. I honestly don't care. Wait, hear me out. Because once you get to midfield, Sam, I'm like, how is this midfield not taking you? Okay, Josh King, he's on the bench. He never plays. Semenyo, Ndiaye, Bruno Fernandes, and Salah. I don't even like Bruno Fernandes. I just have that much money. And up top, I've got Haaland and Joao Pedro. Sam, like, how have you, now that you've seen this draft, surely you just delete your current team and just take this.
The problem with this is that this draft has Joao Pedro.
I mean, you
But
could
I guess-
replace him with Mateta
yeah.
if it makes you happy.
Yeah, maybe. First of all, I just don't want two Sunderland defenders. As great as they are as 4.0 defenders, I don't want two in my team. Right? There's so much what's the word? Short-sightedness with this, like just purely based on the first 5 games of the season. But as we know, Siva, from our how many years has it been? 10 years of playing FPL. The players at the top of the list in the first 5 games rarely continue on to the end. Like Caicedo is not going to be the highest scoring midfielder at the end of the season. Neither is Jaden Anthony going to be there. Neither is Enzo. Neither is Anton Stash. Zubimendi is up there as the 8th highest scoring just because of one high scoring game week. Come on, right? Like they're good picks for their price, but I don't want to start them every single week if I had a choice.
Okay, but I think you're getting hung up on the Sunderland defenders, Sam, because honestly, you just take Tarkowski, bring him down to Lequa or even Chris Richards, and then you upgrade one of your Sunderland defenders. I think the point that I'm trying to make with this draft, and I appreciate it's not for everybody, is that you can get Salah, Bruno, Haaland, and Joao Pedro into the same team. And honestly, you're not missing on anyone else. If you're happy to go without Arsenal defenders and Van Dijk, which I kind of am because, as we've established, Arsenal defenders almost will never DEFCON. And Van Dijk, well, the unsustainable run of DEFCONs aside, I think things will revert to normal soon enough. Like, you can have all these attackers.
I think it's a good draft, Siva. I like the Mark Yu pick to save money now that he's 4.3. So big money savings there. King didn't play the whole 90, right? Last game.
He started, got a yellow card for diving. Impressed, 18-year-old. I mean, kids these days, man. On my bench boost, no less. But came off with 1 point. But he plays. I mean, you just need to get somebody on the bench. I think at that price.
That's true. I think it's a good draft. Like if I really wanted Salah, then yeah, I probably would go something like this. And you could argue that you could strengthen the rest of your team, right? By maybe bringing Bruno down a bit. And then you can put more money into your defense. You can maybe upgrade King to Xhaka, stuff like that. It's a good draft if you want Salah.
Okay, so famous last words. Okay, let's talk about Okay, one last thing, Sam, and this is we got to discuss because I don't know if you know, Sam. I'm on triple captain this week. I'm triple captaining Erling Haaland against Burnley. So, given that I didn't even start the season with Haaland and you had Haaland from Gaming 1, how have we come to it where you will not be triple captaining the best player in the game at home against Burnley?
Because I need to wildcard, Siva. That's purely it.
Could you not wait one more week, mate? Don't you want a triple captain? Because we've got projected points here from Solio. You can go find it. It's still
Yeah.
free for now. I think they're introducing pay tiers next month. But Haaland's top of this projected points. And I did sort of look at this is not an ad, okay, but just for the limited amount of research I was willing to do before this, I looked through their projected points all the way up to game week 13 or 14. Basically, Haaland against Burnley outscores everybody except Salah v Sunderland in game week 14. Don't know about you. I'm not waiting that long to play this chip. I want to do it now when guys are fit and rotation risk is less. I see no reason, despite what Pep tried to say today about Haaland having to come off against Arsenal. Haaland's definitely playing against Burnley. Will score goals and then come off, I think. So, fair enough, Sam, you had to play wildcard. But if you weren't playing wildcard, triple captain, a
100%.
no-brainer?
100% if I wasn't playing wildcard.
Okay.
I'm stuck into it, Siva. Like I've already made transfers and did not activate my wildcard yet. So if I decide not to play wildcard, I'm stuck with like a minus 24 or something. So I have no choice. I have to play my wildcard this week.
Yeah. I think wildcard's anyway the more powerful chip with the number of price rises happening. Was Semenyo's what 7 price rises? So no, I sympathize. You'll have other opportunities for triple captain. Someone said, like, someone commented to me online, like Sam will figure out something stupid down the line, triple captain Bowen or something, and he'll be fine. And yeah,
Oh,
at
speaking
triple
of
captain,
Bowen,
we overhype, I would say.
speaking of Bowen, I actually was considering Bowen because he's quietly been doing very well. But I think if you want to have a player like Bowen, you really need to just close your eyes. Like, do not watch any West Ham games, right? Because when he scores, he's like wood, you know. When he scores, it's straight 3 bonus. Like it's a 9-pointer for every goal.
And the fixtures are pretty decent, right? Okay, so Everton and Arsenal to start off is not great, but then it's Brentford, Leeds, Newcastle, Burnley, and Bournemouth. By game week 8, you assume the new manager's in. Now, the only question is, does a new manager think, I don't know, not starting Bowen up top, maybe start Wilson and full Krug? I don't know. Like something really weird. So I'm with you in the sense that I think Bowen's a great pick, but I wouldn't want him for Everton and I wouldn't want him for Arsenal. And then after that, it's international break. I assume they sack Potter by then. So maybe it's just a case of give it some time, just wait.
Yeah. I think Bowen, if you want to go for Bowen, it will be a season-long pick. Right? You cannot look at it like week to week or even in 3 weeks because high chance he blanks 3 weeks and then scores just one goal, gets 9 points, blank, 1 goal. I think at the end of the season, he probably will be like within the top 6, top 8 scoring forwards. But definitely, let the points come in slowly kind of thing.
Okay. I think we've covered everything, Sam. Again, very well-reasoned choices from you, which I really don't like. So I'm hoping
like
things go badly for you.
I hope things go well, but I will admit I hate the fact that there are so few differentials that I can go for.
That's what DEFCONs have done, man. I guess we must echo what other people have said. DEFCONs have made it a bit too template. We're all too sensible now, but hopefully you can catch me, Sam.
The only thing I would say that is slightly different is that I'm kind of committed to playing 4 at the back, which I see online. A lot of people, despite getting all these DEFCON players, they're getting them to stick them on the bench, and they're still very committed to playing a 3-4-3 or whatever it is, which I feel it's a thing of the past. It's a relic, That's dinosaur football, right?
No, I'm with you.
4-4-2 is the future.
I'm impressed you even have 4 midfielders. I would have been tempted to go Xhaka, King, Reinders. Like the midfielders just seem so poor, even forwards, honestly. But at least forwards is like maybe 3 or 4. Apart from Semenyo and Ndiaye, and Salah. That's the only reason I still have Salah, is because I just don't like any other midfielders.
Yeah, fair, I think.
Yeah, because even Tijani Reinders, Sam, and we didn't discuss him, but we must point out, like, he didn't even get 12 DEFCONs this week. He got 11, but because the game locks itself 1 hour after the final game, and Man City Arsenal was the last game, Reinders owners get to keep DEFCON points, even though he didn't actually get DEFCON points. It's a great assist, and he's still very good value for the price. But as we've said a few times, you could probably just do better with a 5.5 defender or a 5 million defender.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I do think 5 game weeks is still a very small sample size, right? And 10 game weeks into the season, our whole mentality on what is the best team building strategy will probably change, you know?
Yeah, but you got to go with the knowledge we have now, Sam. In the meantime, I don't think there's anything else to discuss this week, right? Everyone's captaining Haaland. If you don't own Haaland, you're taking a hit to get him in anyway, right?
Yeah, really annoying that everyone's going to captain Haaland. That everyone's going to get Haaland this week. But at least I managed to enjoy 5 game weeks of differential Haaland, which is more than you can ask for since he has joined the Premier League. So yeah.
So we will see you next week. But in the meantime, Sam,
Get your green arrows, guys. And yep. I just want to give a special shout out to the 18th best player in the world. For those of you who are watching,
I mean, out of all the rankings that I was very unimpressed with, that is one I will not argue. Sean McTominay deserves it. Obviously, not as good as the 15th best, Sam. Do you know who's the 15th?
who is the 15th best?
Victor Gyökeres, 15th best in the world.
Oh. Okay,
So
fair,
that's
fair.
Arsenal trophy sorted for the season. It's crazy. I mean, Ballon d'Or, some of this. Mo Salah, never going to win a Ballon d'Or at this rate. It's ridiculous.
Well, and that's where we'll end, I guess.
Salah hat trick this week, but